Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Gabrielle Trasati. I'm the International Outreach Coordinator for the Luksic Foundation, and we're here, of course, to talk about the Luksic Scholarship at the London School of Economics. And so, in terms of our agenda for today, I'll just give some brief information on the foundation, where we're at today. And we are joined by a special guest from LSE and a scholar herself who has lived this experience there at LSE on campus. So we're joined by Nathan, International Student Recruitment Officer. He'll give an overview of LSE and the School of Public Policy. And we have Maddie, who's the Premium Service Manager for SPP. She'll guide you guys through the application process and timeline and what that looks like. So really, we're all here to answer any of your questions or doubts. And then we have a scholar experience with Magdalena Bruna, who did the MPP just last year. She's going to share with us a presentation, show some pictures of her time on program. And of course, a recording will be made available on YouTube, and we'll have some time for a Q&A at the end. So just to give some context in the foundation, we contribute to Chile's development. That is our vision, our main focus, and we do this through the implementation and design of programs in different areas. So from early childhood to sports, education, entrepreneurship, conservation, emergency support, and today we'll focus on international education. And here, what we're really hoping is to facilitate access to international programs, whether those be abroad, for example, like a master's scholarship, or here in Chile with programs that feature international experts, for example. So just to give you guys a bit of overview of what our history looks like in international education, we have been connecting globally with these programs for over 20 years. And LSE being a historic partner of ours, and you can see at that top left photo, when you go to LSE as a Luksic scholar, you will, of course, get the photo with the Chilean flag there on campus, so be prepared for that. And ever since we started with these programs, there have been about 30 different types of programs implemented in collaboration with over 18 institutions and across 7 different countries. And as a result, there have been more than 2,000 people who have participated in these international programs. We have one here with us today, Magdalena, who is a Luksic scholar. And once you are considered a Luksic scholar and selected, you then will be asked to join our Luksic Scholars community. So I'll provide a bit of details about that. What do our opportunities look like currently? There are 3 types that we support: the master's scholarships, which we'll focus on today. These are full scholarships. So across the field, if you're selected as a Luksic scholar for a master's program, these are covering everything from tuition, living stipend, arrival and installation costs. So if you need to put down a deposit for housing, for example, there in London, that will retroactively be covered. There are also research programs available, so fellowships for academics in any academic discipline, and a doctor in political science. And there are short courses here in Chile in which we invite international experts. And anyone who participates in these programs, we invite to form part of the Luksic Scholars community. So here's just a quick snapshot of where the Luksic scholarships are available. Today, we'll, of course, focus on LSE, but there are about 17 different scholarships located throughout the world and within specific master's scholarship or master's programs. And so LSE, here's some photos we've had from over the years. This is a fully funded opportunity supporting Chilean students or those living in Chile to be able to do the Master of Public Policy program or Public Administration there in London. You'll, of course, be living there for the duration of program, whether that's the MPP for 9 months or the MPA for 2 years, and all of those costs will be covered. It is important to just keep note of the application process and timelines. So we'll have Maddie who will explain that. But essentially, the entire application process is done through LSE. The foundation does not participate in these processes whatsoever. You don't actually even need to be in contact with the foundation prior. You can just apply directly to LSE. I do just want to note that it's been really wonderful collaborating with LSE. Nathan has visited Chile, I think, for the past 4 or 5 years in a row. And so hopefully some of you guys have already connected with him. If not, shoot him an email. He's definitely here to help and answer any questions. And then just sort of ending on here on the Luksic Scholars community, we really do want to support all of you in this journey, in this before, during, and after. So before with information sessions like this, Also, if you are selected as a Luksic Scholar, we'll invite you into our offices to have a breakfast with the other Master Scholars who have been chosen. Therefore, you can start already creating the networks and connections that you need. We certainly don't want anyone also to feel that they're going abroad alone. So we really want to create that sense of community, create that sense of institutional support. And in the bottom photo there, my boss is in that photo, Trini. You'll see that she'll actually visit you while you're on program. She'll invite you out to dinner, meet the other scholars as well. They're on program, or those who have maybe already graduated and are still living living abroad. And then you'll have access to their annual post-program fund once you complete the program, and you can apply to up to $5,000 for initiatives that you're working on. So I'll end it there just as a quick reminder that the application process for any Luksic scholarship is done through the universities, our partner universities, and for the specific master's programs that we support. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll hand it over to Nathan.
Thank you so much, Gabby, and thank you all for being here. Whether you are here live or watching this back on the recording, it's yeah, really awesome to have you here, and we don't take for granted you're giving up your time to come and listen to us. So, as Gabby mentioned, my name is Nathan, and I'm the member of staff here at LSE who looks after our kind of work with prospective students and candidates in South America, and of course, particularly for today, thinking about Chile. So, as Gabby mentioned, if you ever have a question, if you have a concern, you are very, very welcome to reach out to us. And in fact, just having a look at the kind of list of names on screen, I can see there's a few names I recognize. So a few of you we might have met before. If we have, please stay quiet if you hear the same jokes again. I apologize in advance. But the idea is that in this kind of introduction to LSE, I wanted to provide a little bit of context to who we are, what we try and do as a university, and ultimately how you might fit into that. Hopefully, after I've given my introduction, I'll hand over to Georgina, who is hurriedly on her way here right now from an important meeting. And Georgina will provide a little bit more detailed information about the programs that are eligible for this particular scholarship in the School of Public Policy. So, just to provide, I guess, a starting point, we can't talk about the London School of Economics without talking about London, right? The clue is in our name. We are based right in the heart of what I think is probably the best city in the world. And I'm allowed to say that, by the way, because I'm from Manchester. I'm not from London. Manchester's horrible in comparison. London is such an amazing city, right? And I'm sure that some of you on the call will have visited. And often when I speak to students who've been to London before, it's because, they've been on vacation, right? And you come to London for a week or two and you do all the tourist stuff, right? Buckingham Palace and Harry Potter World and going to the British Museum to look at stolen art, all of those fun things. But what obviously you have to keep in mind is that, if you come to London to study and, particularly through the scholarship, this is going to be your home, right, for at least a year. And people don't always sort of connect those dots of what it's actually going to be like to live in London as a student. And if it's any reassurance, I think it's important to say that London is genuinely a city built for students. It's been ranked for many years as one of the best, if not the best cities in the world to be a student in. And that's because in London, I mean, there are 40 different universities, there are 600,000 students. So you think about what that means in terms of the resources you have access to, but also the job opportunities, the internships, all of those kind of things. It is an amazing city, right? Not just to visit and see the sights, but also to live in and spend a bit more time in. One of the problems with that, though, as I mentioned, is that there are 40 universities in London and each of them are a little bit different. So just to take a moment to explain, I guess, what makes LSE different and what makes us unique, not just to those other 39 universities, but around the world. What makes LSE special is the fact that we are the only university in the world and one of very few only university in the UK, sorry, and one of only very few universities in the world that is dedicated to the social sciences. So the way I like to think about this, right, is there's a million places you could go to do a master's in politics or economics or international relations. But there is only one university, at least in the UK, where every single person around you is interested in the same thing that you are. And although they might come at that from different perspectives, people come to LSE because they are interested in how our society works, right? And in my experience, at least 9 times out of 10, when a student has those interests, it's because they want to make society better, right? And in that sense, LSE is a very real world university. We are very much focused on the most important questions, facing not just us, but the world. And that's reflected in what we teach and our research areas. So what you can see on screen are some examples of some of the research provided or undertaken by our academics. So the people who would be teaching you, right? And I will make a bet that if you studied social sciences for your undergraduate, your licenciado or whatever, you will have read something by an LSE academic, even if you didn't know it at the time. And that's because, the people teaching you are at the absolute top of their game when it comes to their fields. Many of our academics have spent careers, lifetimes in research, but also, and I think this is something Georgina speaks about, there's a lot of people who make the jump over, from working in governments or working in businesses. And so it's a real mixture of expertise and again has that real world focus. Because we are specialised, we have quite a few sort of specialised departments at LSE. So while, today's session and the scholarship is very much focused on the School of Public Policy, I just wanted to show you that, what we do at LSE isn't just, strictly limited to economics or finance or whatever sometimes people associate with us. The social sciences touch so many areas and we have lots of different types of students at LSE. Very quickly, the other, I guess, really key feature of LSE that makes us unique is our size. So we are a small university, certainly by UK standards. So in total, we have 12,000 students, and that might sound like a lot, but actually, if you compare us to our neighbours, say King's College London, they're 45,000. UCL is 55,000. And you might actually also notice on screen, it's not just that we're smaller, it's also the fact that the majority of our students are also postgraduates. So we're a slightly older community of people who come to us more often than not for a master's and a PhD, although of course we do also have undergraduate students. Final point I want to make on this is that in addition to being small, selective and specialised, we are also the UK's most diverse internationally university. So 80% of everyone in your class, in some cases more, will be from outside of the UK. And this is genuinely an incredibly diverse environment. We actually have more students at LSE from South America than any other university. We have increasing numbers from Africa, from the Middle East, from all over the world. So you will hear voices and perspectives that you will never encounter in your day-to-day lives at LSE. It really is, it's a lame thing to say, but the closest comparison I can give to what it's like to be on LSE campus is, I don't know, if you were in the UN in New York, right? It's that kind of vibe. Finally, and then I'm going to hand over to Georgina, it's important to note that LSE actually has the largest Chilean community of any UK university. So if you planned on coming to London to get away from Chilean people, I'm sorry, there will be a few. And that means we have quite an active community. We have a Chilean society that sort of brings students together, that home away from home. And then that also extends to our teaching and to our alumni network. So whenever we visit Chile, we will connect with LSE alumni who are doing amazing things in law and public policy, and I've met architects and academics and all kinds of people. And that is also a network that you can tap into, having been an LSE student. So I think those are the key things I would say to introduce LSE. Georgina, I can see out of breath is here, running from her meeting. So Georgina, I think I'll hand over to you now. Please, if you want to share your own screen, otherwise I can advance it for you. But thank you, Georgina.
If you're happy to carry on, that's great, Nathan. Thank you so much. I'm Georgina. I'm the head of marketing and recruitment at the School of Public Policy. I have just run across campus, although it's a nice compact campus, so I am slightly out of breath. Thank you so much for being here today. So as Nathan's been talking about all the amazing things about LSE as a whole and a university, we are the School of Public Policy, which is where our programs sit. And if you go on to the next slide, I can tell you a bit more about us. So we are a global hub in the LSE, and we focus on all the kind of professional skills and the real kind of academics for public policy. We were launched in 2016 by our Dean, Andres Velasco, who was the finance minister for Chile. So again, we've got this very strong connection with Chile and a lot of students from there as well. But as Nathan was saying, a hugely global community within SPP, within the huge global community at LSE. We currently have eight postgraduate degree programs. So we've grown a lot since our launch in 2016. Our biggest programs, which I'll talk about today, are our MPA program and our MPP program. But we also do have executive students who are quite far along their career. They come here for different modules. We have an MPA in data science for public policy, and we have 3 double degree as well. So we have a lot of different students all coming together on campus. Thank you. Next slide. And this is our Master of Public Administration program. So this is our 2-year full-time program. This program has actually existed before the SPP, School of Public Policy, launched. So it's actually been around for about 20 years. And it's our 2-year full-time program. It's aimed mainly at early to mid-stage career students, although we do really welcome students from a huge range of different backgrounds, also at very different stages in careers. We have students who have joined who've had 20 plus years experience and recent graduates. So you really have this huge network of students with different experiences to draw from. Your year 1 on the MPA is really focused on the kind of real academic rigor and giving those real foundations that LSE is kind of famous for in things like micro and macroeconomics, political science, and quantitative methods of analysis. And there are also option courses within SPP and also wider LSE that you can also benefit from as well. So that first year might sound slightly scary. Most of our students do tell us they're actually slightly frightened of the kind of real core academic and economics that LSE does. But we do provide a lot of support before you arrive at LSE. There's lots of kind of readings and optional learnings that you can do before getting here. And all the students, once they're here, feel very supported by their network of students as well as academics. So it's really, it is challenging, but don't be scared by first year. And the second year of the MPA really allows you to kind of be a bit more flexible and put your learnings into practice. A key element of that is this 6-month capstone project where you'll get to work in a group with fellow students with an external client on a public policy problem. You'll also have the option to specialise, and you can add an addition to your degree. And there's also lots more option courses which you can kind of choose to take within SPP and wider LSE. So the MPA program this year, we welcomed 83 students. So it's one of our bigger programs. And again, a range of nationalities. The average years of professional experience is about 3. But like I said, we do have a real range on this program. So it's kind of open to everybody. And next slide. And the Master of Public Policy. This is our intensive 9-month program. It's called intensive, but it's also fun. So it's jam-packed with activities and lots of learning. But it is a great opportunity for people maybe looking for a career break or career pivot. So it's aimed at early stage to mid-career professionals, but there is a requirement to have at least 5 years of professional experience for this program. So many people have much more. The average for this year was about 7.5, but sometimes it's about 10. So it's aimed at kind of more career professionals a bit further along in their career. So there are 6 core modules. These cover things like public policy, philosophy and governments, and it's really kind of focusing more on how all the components come together to form the kind of craft of government. And this is really focused more on allowing you to reflect on your career trajectory and really kind of join a real amazing network of peers to kind of assess your direction and learn those skills to really apply to your career. So that's our MPP. Next slide. And as well as your programs and all the academics and the amazing things you can do at LSE, there's a ton of things you can also get involved in outside of the classroom. There are over 200 LSE societies alone, which you can get involved in. And I've just noted some here, which are just SPP specific options for you. So we have a lot of professional development programs. One of these is the Professional Skills Accelerator. This runs alongside your studies and is a series of sessions which are led by an expert on kind of practical skills. So there's been sessions such as negotiation and media and podcasting, CV and LinkedIn, and leadership skills. So those kind of things you can really apply to your role. And these kind of sessions are usually about a day long, and they run throughout your program here. We also have a policy and practice seminar series. This is when we welcome expert speakers from governments and different roles to come and speak directly to our SPP students. They will again run throughout your studies, so it's a really great way for you to access them directly and kind of put your learnings and questions to them to kind of really engage with them directly. We also have the Global Public Policy Network. We are part of this network, which is, I think it is 9 of the prestigious policy schools around the world. And a huge benefit for students is you can apply to take part in the annual conference where you can work in a team on a policy problem and then go to a conference, which it takes place in one of the different global locations each year, and then meet up with all the fellows from different policy schools. And yeah, it's a really great opportunity to kind of broaden your networks and also work on an actual policy problem together. And we also have the Turn and Mint program is another option that you can apply to, which is an option to do some impact investing. And it's similar to GPPN. You can kind of apply to take part, work on a project, and then go to a conference to present. We also have, along with all of the main LSE events, we have a really great series of SPP events, which are specific for SPP and amazing guest speakers. We recently had our annual lecture with Sanna Marin, who is the ex-Prime Minister of Finland. So really great speakers again. And then we also have a number of student-led organisations and things you can get involved in, which includes our Public Sphere Journal. If you're into editing and writing, that's a great opportunity. We have lots of social events with our Women's Network and our Association of Public Policy of Students, which run a load of socials and boat parties and things like that. So that's a quick overview of SPP.
Thank you, Georgina. Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie. I'm the Premium Service Manager for SPP and Executive Programs at LSE, and I will be your contact for any questions related to admissions. The first slide is going to cover program entry requirement. So the academic entry requirements for MPA and MPP is an upper second class honours degree in any discipline. If your degree is from outside the UK, you will find the equivalent for the respective country on the programme pages. The professional experience is a requirement only for the Master of Public Policy, for which 5+ years are needed. If you have a bit less than 5 years, exceptions may be made. However, please include how you can make up for this in the academic statement or as a separate document. The MPA doesn't have a formal requirement for professional experience. However, previous students usually come with some. You may also be required to provide evidence of English language proficiency. You are normally exempt from this if you are a national or studied at a degree level in a number of UKVI approved countries. And the list of this can be found on our website, and I'll put a link in the chat as well. The next slide covers who should apply. To be considered for this funding, you must be ordinarily based in Chile. Your application must demonstrate a commitment for public service in your future career with a compelling rationale for choosing this vocation. You should show the potential to become a future expert in your field and therefore generate a positive change for Chile. And you should have a strong academic background. If you need to develop or refresh your skills in economics and quantitative subjects, there is an opportunity to do this via online learning materials prior to the program starting. For the next slide, what is policy relevant experience? If you're wondering what types of experience may be relevant for MPP, we have a list that covers a wide range. However, this is non-exhaustive. Please note that the selectors are open-minded, so don't be discouraged if your experience doesn't fit within this list. Make your case in the statement of academic purpose, and the selectors will take this into account. As this session is recorded and the slides will be sent to you, I won't read through the list just so we can have a bit more time for more questions at the end. Next slide, please. To apply, you must complete an online form. You will have to provide personal details, academic background, choose the programs you wish to be considered for, nominate referees, and provide documents. As a minimum, you will need to upload the following documents. Academic ones, such as transcripts and certificates. If your degree is still in progress, you will need to upload the most up-to-date transcript you have. You'll need to upload your CV and the statement of academic purpose. If you apply for 2 programs, you should upload 2 statements, please. And once your application is complete, you can pay and submit it. The application fee is £95. However, if you fall under certain categories, you may be able to request a waiver. A link will be provided to you. Please read the information on the website, and if you meet the criteria, please complete the form. Please also note that once you submit your application, you're unable to make further changes. So double check the information you provided to ensure it's accurate. An application only counts as complete once it's submitted and all supporting documents have been provided, including references. Once your application is out for consideration, decisions are usually issued within 8 weeks, although at times it could take a little bit longer. Also, at the beginning of the cycle where we are now, offers will not be issued until January onwards, even if that goes over the 8-week period. You will have access to the graduate applicant portal where you can track your application, decisions, and apply for funding. And if you receive an offer, you will also be able to use this portal to complete conditions by submitting documents and completing required forms. A bit of information on the statement of academic purpose. The statement of academic purpose should follow some guidelines. The website link will be provided to you so you can read more about this. However, some general information are that it should be roughly 2 pages in between 1,000 and 1,500 words. You should outline your interest, understanding, and suitability for the program, your purpose and objective, as well as the focus on the origin of your interest. The statement should also describe your academic interests, strengths, and background relevant to the program, as well as outlining your academic ambitions, research interests, and any professional aspirations. And the final slide from me today will be application deadlines. To be considered for this funding, you must submit a complete application for MPA or MPP by the 22nd of January 2026 and complete the funding form by the 19th of February 2026. This form will be available to you on the graduate applicant portal, and information on how to access this will be sent via email at the appropriate time. And if you have any questions, concerns, or if you just wish to discuss any further academic admissions procedures, please contact me via email or book a Zoom call. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Maddie. And you guys feel free to go to the Luksic Foundation website. You can also see the SVP email, the one that you can reach out to with for any questions. I see we do have some questions coming in the Q&A box, so feel free to leave those and we'll get to those at the end. And now we'll go here and hear from Magdalena Bruna. Magdalena, you went to LSE, you probably arrived last August to do your Master of Public Policy, and you ended this year probably a couple months ago. So congrats on completing the program. And we're really excited to hear your experience and your story being there on campus as a Luksic scholar. So I will hand over the mic to you.
Thank you, Javi. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be able to share a bit of my story with you. I hope you engage with what I'm about to tell you. And a bit of me is that I'm a Chilean educational psychologist and a public policy professional. I completed the Master of Public Policy in LSE this year through the Luksic Scholarship. And I will organize my presentation in 3 parts. The first one is the journey before LSE, then my experience during the program, and then what came after with a bit of advice I hope is useful for you if you're considering a similar path. Oh, this should go. Yeah. So as you can see in these 3 pictures I choose, I have a kindergarten graduation picture of myself, then my first day at LSE, and then my LSE graduation picture, because as you can imagine, getting here wasn't something that happened overnight. It was the result of many dots that only started feeling connected when I started looking backwards. So I have volunteered for many years and worked professionally in schools, higher education, NGOs, and local government. And through these years, I started to wonder many things. I have a lot of questions, of which I still care about. So, for example, how to strengthen support system, expand equitable opportunities, and also how to scale place-based work. So personally, also Chile's 2019 social uprising was another turning point for me, because it deepened my concerns about inequality and also reinforced the importance of public policy for addressing those challenges, especially the ones that children, young people, and families were facing. So soon after this turning point, I completed a diploma in childhood and public policy, because I was interested in an interdisciplinary approach, which I also wanted to deepen. So as you can imagine, getting to LSE after that was not easy. I had to take the IELTS twice, and although I was accepted to start in 2023, I didn't receive any scholarships of the ones I applied. So it was really frustrating, but I had a clear purpose. I wanted to learn more about how to design, analyze, assess public policies. So I couldn't give up at that point. So I applied the following year. I was accepted once again. And this time I received the LSE scholarship funded by Fundación Luksic, which made everything else possible. So in my next slide, you can see a bit of how was my time at LSE. And as you can imagine from the pictures, my year at LSE exceeded anything that I could have imagined before getting there. Academically, the program, of course, it was really rigorous and demanding. You study many different disciplines, from quantitative methods to philosophy, navigate a large volume of readings, and constantly question assumptions, which is something really challenging. Trying to uncover the causes of things to help shape better policies. So additionally, as Georgina was mentioning, you receive training in negotiation, leadership, strategic communication, and data visualization, and also how to work on real policy problems with partner organizations. One aspect I value deeply from my time at LSE was the opportunity to have office hours, which is an opportunity to sit with your teachers and professors from other faculties as well, and receive direct and thoughtful guidance. Of course, the learning environment is not only shaped by the faculty, but from your classmates. So for example, my cohort included people from 24 nationalities working in government, the private sector, civil society, and international organizations as well. And I was lucky to have found incredibly supportive friends who shared their knowledge generously and made everything lighter during the masters. Beyond coursework, a true highlight for me was serving as academic representative for my cohort, because it allowed me to support my peers while strengthening also my skills in listening, negotiation, and collaboration. And as Nathan was also mentioning at the beginning, the experiences is in London. So London is a city that becomes part of your learning experience. Balancing study with enjoying the city and visiting other places in the UK was not always easy, but it made this year unforgettable. So moving on to what happens after my year at LSE. Once I completed the master, I started understanding more clearly how different parts of the policy processes fit together. But the most important thing I would like to share is that the masters also left me with more questions than answers. So I think this is a positive sign of the quality of the program and the university, because it means the MPP, the teachers I get the chance to know, planted the seeds for bigger ambitions and a deeper reflection. Right now, I'm working as a freelance consultant in Chile while I'm applying for a permanent role either in the UK or in my home country. And through this whole journey, the Fundación Luksic and the Luksic Scholars community have been really important as a source of support, not only economic, which is also really important when you're coming from especially the public service sector, which sometimes is not the best well paid. But especially because you also find a source of people who share your ambitions, your opportunities, go beyond graduation. And even in my case, at least, I forge friendships that continue growing even after LSE. So if I may, I would like to share with you 4 key advices that for me were really important during my journey. The first one is to take time to connect your dots. This sentence is not something that I invented, but it comes from a speech that Steve Jobs gave a few years ago. And the invitation is to reflect on your trajectory, what motivates you, how a postgraduate program aligns with your values, with what you want to achieve, and also how it could change the world for the better, because that is something that the people that will read your statement also want to know. The second one is to prepare strategically. And for that, I think one important thing is to identify your strengths, but also your opportunities for growth and to work on them. Because, for example, in my case, while I was preparing for the application, I knew my English was okay, but I wasn't feeling confident enough to take the IELTS. So I reached out for support from a teacher. And also, when I was accepted to LSE, I took some few English conversation sessions to feel more confident. The third point would be to map your support network. It might come from my professional background because I'm a psychologist, but also personally, the process is really demanding, both academically and personally. So having emotional and also practical support from people that care about you can make a big difference. And the last advice I would say is to persevere through uncertainty. As I share with you, I had to take 2 attempts to get into LSE. So persistence is key if you really, really have this dream. So finally, I would like to also say that you don't need to have perfect clarity to begin this process, because taking actions will help you move forward. The preparation, the reflection, the application process itself can help you understand your path more deeply and to connect the dots. So, for example, I even go back to my own personal statement every time I feel I'm losing track, and it really helps me to go through my own story, where I come from, and also where I want to go. So when I look again at my 4 and 32-year-old graduation pictures, I see a path that once felt fragmented, but now it makes sense. So I hope this conversation helps you start connecting your own dots. And if you want to reach out, please feel free to contact me through LinkedIn. You can connect with me using this QR code or looking in the platform with my name. And I'm always happy to help. Thank you so much.